Love is in the air. Mike Emmy.
Bobby D.
Happy,
Tough Talk Tuesdays.
yeah, Tough Talk Tuesday. Happy post Valentine's Day, bro.
Hey, whatever. Go fuck yourself.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
no,
Settle
no,
it.
hey man, Valentine's Day is not like it's a Hallmark holiday. It's funny. I have a bunch of clients, and a lot of the women clients, they're always like always big on Valentine's Day. I said, let me tell you something, ladies. If your husband buys something for you on Valentine's Day, and the only reason why he's doing that is because it's out of guilt, because he doesn't want you to go back and tell your girlfriends or your mother to say, "Oh, what did so and so? What did your husband buy you for Valentine's Day?" And he doesn't want you to go back and say nothing. He wants to say, "Oh, he bought me this or he did that. We went to have a nice dinner." Man, it's a bullshit holiday. I won't sign on to it. It's a holiday that I will never recognize. Because it's a bullshit holiday. I really believe like you should be able to show you somebody you love them every day. And then see people, I'm going to show my loved one something special today, though. You just stop. Just do that special thing every day. Don't do it. It's not a sometime thing. It's an everyday thing. Every weekend, you should be planning some kind of event to create a memory, to create some kind of you should never ever stop dating. Too many people, when they get in relationships, they stop dating. They forgot how to date. And the relationship goes on for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months, 6 months, a year. And then you get lazy, you get complacent. And that is, you don't communicate it back and forth. You don't do the same things you used to do in the beginning of a relationship. And that's, I think, is the demise of most relationships. Is, when you first, and I say this to everybody, like, if you break up out of a relationship, when you break up with somebody, you went in some relationship for years, especially people that just got divorced, man, they are going to shoot for the stars. They're swinging for a home run every time. Men, women alike. They're going to pull out all the stops. Women, you know what? I hear it across the board. So I have tons of clients, female clients, male clients, and they always talk about how, there's not enough sex in the relationship. And it's funny because I'll say this to the female clients when they first, I say, listen, you know what's going to happen? You're going to break up. You're going to go through this divorce. You're going to break up with your husband or your significant other, and you're going to go out there and you're going to fucking suck the people
Whoa, whoa,
the best
whoa.
they could do.
All right.
What?
Just
It's
check.
tough talk. It's tough talk Tuesdays.
Tough Talk Tuesday, but come on. But
But
I gotta.
no,
If I have to ground you, then we're in trouble.
I know. But so all I'm saying is that the girls and guys alike, they're gonna do whatever they have to do to turn that other person on, to get them to like them. They're gonna pull out all the stops. They're gonna do things that they should have been doing in their past relationship. And if they were doing that consistently, men and women alike, there would be no such thing as a divorce or breakup or so. Because if you're doing the things that got you guys to love each other in the beginning, why does it stop? It stops because people get lazy. People take things for granted. They take each other for granted. And yeah, I mean, I might talk a little crass about things, but I'm saying it because you're going to do it. Men are going to do things that they never would have done for their wives, and wives are going to do things that they never did for their husbands, when they're divorced or separated. And that's the shame of it all. Because if they did those things during the course of a relationship, they would have an amazing relationship. To always constantly talk about how we can create memories, set a new standard. It doesn't have to be super expensive. You can just have a day where you can cook together. Just something, we go ride in the car and do car karaoke. It doesn't matter. It doesn't be extreme, but it has to be something. And people just get lazy. I'm just going to sit in the house and watch Netflix. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. You have to go out and do something. You have to be engaged in life because, like I say about time is a gift, right? Time is a gift, and we're not promised tomorrow. And people always I always say, listen, I don't want anybody holding my hand when I'm about to die. It would be nice, but I want you to hold my hand now when I'm alive. I want you to share my life now, not when I'm about to kick it. I want to be involved with somebody now. And I think that's what people miss the time. They think they got tomorrow. They think, oh, we'll put it off to next week. You don't have next week. We might not be around next week. And if we are, let's create something amazing together instead of sitting there like two bumps on a log. That's just definition of success. Whether we talk about relationships, we talk about business, or we talk about your health and fitness. What I always talk about health and fitness is you got to stay consistent. You got to be disciplined, and you have to be able to walk that talk on a daily basis. You can't be like, oh, I'm just tired today, or I'm not in the mood today. Those are the days you really got to push forward, Because if you let those days get involved, like if you just keep constantly telling yourself, I'm tired, or I don't feel like doing it, I don't feel like showing a person the love I need to show them, what makes tomorrow different? Oh, maybe I'll feel better tomorrow. Maybe you feel worse tomorrow. You just do it anyway. It doesn't take much to walk behind somebody you care about. Say, hey, give them a hug while they, help them cook or whatever like that. Whatever it is, you got to show that same love and affection every day, not just one day. Because then if you do that every day, then it's just Valentine's Day is just another day because you're doing it every day. And that's what people miss the boat.
So I had no clue we were going to go. This is what's great about the show. This was not scripted. I just mentioned, it's Valentine's Day, and you went off on a tangent. I think it's great.
I go off on tangents. You know that. You get me started on anything. You want to talk about wearing a mask? I'll fucking go crazy about that too. You want to talk about the fact? We go crazy about anything. I might not actually wear another. I might not actually buy another. Wait, I don't want to talk about it. I went to the mall with my daughter, and we were gonna, I was gonna get a brand new iPhone. I need an iPhone.
Yeah.
So I went to go in the iPhone store, and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to buy an iPhone. It's iPhone 13 Pro, whatever. It's going to be about $1,400 for this phone. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy the phone. Fuck it, I need it. I need a new phone. It's got great camera. This and that. Guys, yes, you can come in, but you need to wear a mask. I'm like, you got the wrong dude. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not. But there's not mandatory. You don't have to wear a mask. I ain't wearing a mask. Well, then you can't come in my store. Well, I'm not gonna buy a fucking Apple phone then. That's ridiculous. I mean, your whole company's fucking bunch of pussies. I'm sick and tired of these masks. When's enough is enough? Let's stop bullshitting each other. We already got enough data that says that it's fucking doesn't work. It's ridiculous. And this guy behind me is wearing a mask. I turn around and you say, you're a fucking pussy too. This guy was about like 6'2". I'm like, you're a fucking pussy too. I can't stand it. I can't stand anybody anymore because nobody has the balls to go back to normal. Nobody has the balls to say, you know what? This is what we should be doing and taking a stand. Everybody wants to kowtow to everybody. Everybody wants to talk shit behind closed doors, but in front of everybody, nobody wants to stick up for anything. I'm done with it all. I'll be honest with you. I know I might go on a rant rave sometimes, but you know what? I really feel like if we don't stand for something soon enough, we're gonna fall for anything, and that goes with everything in life. So it's enough's enough. But anyway, next topic.
All you had to do is be a celebrity at the Super Bowl, and you don't have to wear a mask.
You don't have to wear, or you can hold your breath the whole time.
Hold your breath. 70,000 people basically maskless, and the next day, 3-year-old children in preschool and 5-year-olds in school wear masks. So it's a bizarre topic, and it's unfortunate that it's like you said. There's a mass movement in the country though, where even people that were on the sidelines, people that were apolitical, people that were mellow, just wanted to live. They're even getting involved now because, like you said, enough is enough. The COVID thing was real. It's a real disease. But guess what? Diseases are going to exist forever on this planet, and we can't destroy lives. Can't destroy lives.
Ever.
That's what we've done. It's crazy. So we went from Valentine's destroyed to mask
to maybe not ever having an iPhone again if I can't.
and you getting upset at people with iPhones. And by the way, the show is brought to you by Synergy. We always
Synergy.
There it is. Synergy.
Oh,
what'd you do? You just broke something.
That's okay. We're good. I got too excited again.
You're a disaster. You look good though. Things are good. You look good. You had a nice week.
We had a great week. Can't complain. How about yourself? What's going on with you in your world?
I had a good week. I did celebrate Valentine's Day.
I tell you what, I saw the video of you and your girlfriend, and I gotta tell you what, I shared that with a few. That was funny. Trying to get in the hotel room. Oh my God! I gotta tell you, I was pissing my pants.
I might have given her the wrong key. Is that a bad thing?
I literally pissed my pants. I swear.
It's it was good for the show.
You are too funny.
So I might have slipped her a key from a hotel that I stayed in when I was in Denver or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what I did. I don't know.
You fucked up. That's too funny.
We had a great time. It was awesome. She's obviously, we don't with us celebrate Valentine's Day. We don't see each other a lot, but to your point, I agree with you. It's every day should be, and we're the same way. I mean, we didn't look at the date like, but you know what? We only see each other because we live so far apart. So we got to dress up a little bit. We went to our midpoint in Connecticut, and it was great. And by the way, it's Heart Health Month. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that?
No, I know that.
Yeah, February is Heart Health Month, and Synergy is probably, Mike, has the greatest heart health product on the planet. As you
It definitely does.
I know you have a box right there. Pick that box up. Pro-arginine, the greatest heart health product on the planet. And tonight's guest, Mike, is the guy responsible for bringing that product to the market. And what an amazing situation. Before I bring him on, I'll tell you this story because you and I, we've been buddies for almost 40 years, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. When I got introduced to this, you were the first person, because that's how tight we are. You're the first person I said, Mike, I'm looking at this NO product, and you were the one to tell me about the importance of NO for workout purposes. I said, I'm looking at this. We may have to get involved in it. And I said that because I wasn't sure yet. I said to you, I'm going to be going out to Utah.
Yep.
I want to go check this out. Dr. Ed told me about the product. I spoke to Dr. Sandberg. Both tremendously intelligent people. Sandberg's probably the smartest guy I've ever met in my life. Like, legit. Like, the guy there's nothing he doesn't know about any health-related subject. So after consulting with both of them in 3 months, Mike, I said to you, I'm going to Utah. I'm going to kick the tires. I want to meet the founder. I want to tour the facility. And I said, if it's all a go, me and you are running with this. And you were like, yeah, you got it.
Let's go.
Because you trusted my judgment. That's why.
It's like, but I trust your judgment, because you know what? There's nothing you ever put me on that was off. Yeah. Like every product, everything you ever showed me, and I research everything. And I do that because, one, I have these clients that I give everything to.
Yeah.
So you know how big I am with that. I said, it's got to be good, or I'm not going to, my lifeline is my clients, not a product that I'm selling.
Right.
However, this was probably the best thing that you ever showed me on the market. And we talked about this from the word go. I mean, listen, you told me whatever we're selling, I'd do it with you. I'd run through a fire with gasoline in my hand, because, I trust you. So, I knew this was the stuff. I knew it was.
Yeah. So I go out to Utah, and I'm supposed to meet Dr. Sandberg there, and I land, and he says, Dan's going to pick you up at the airport. And I'm like, who the hell's Dan? And he goes, the founder of Synergy. And I'm like, wait, you making the founder of the company pick me up at the airport? I mean, I'm like,
that's crazy.
Can you imagine?
I remember this story. I remember you telling me. It's coming back to me. I remember this.
I'm like, this is bizarre. Like, the founder of a company's picking me up at the airport. So I said, okay. And he's got a big pickup truck. And Mike, it was love at first sight.
Yeah.
We just hit it off completely. And, whether it was our similarities to our passions, we both stand on the same grounds when it comes to a lot of things. Both big baseball fans. Both of our kids play college ball. We're into athletics. We're patriots. We believe in this country. We believe in the beauty of the country. We also don't like the dark side that we see, the division in the country. So yeah. we just hit it off on so many levels. And I just started asking him a ton of questions. And I'm going to bring him on. And we're talking about, Mike, a guy in his mid-20s who was with Stephen Covey. I think I might be pronouncing it wrong. Covey. Yeah, Covey. He wrote the book 7 Habits of the Most Highly.
Yeah. So, I read it. We all read it.
Yeah. So Dan was working with that dude.
Wow. That's amazing.
And he's going to tell the story of how he advanced in that company. And how he got in, like, total freak how he got into the industry. Because he's going to tell you, like, he didn't like this industry. He thought this industry was shaky. It was unscrupulous. He thought it was a little beneath him. And here he was a couple years later starting a company that ended up becoming a multi-success in 29 countries and blossoming. And I would say, Mike, I don't know in the industry if there's a more credible company when it comes to integrity, when it comes to manufacturing processes, the highly accredited with the Better Business Bureau. customer to rep ratio through the roof, retention ratio for customers. I mean, you talk about checking off every box. Comp plan integrity. Here's a guy.
Mhm.
What company how many of these companies change their comp plan every other month?
Oh,
This guy hasn't changed his comp plan in
it's
23 years.
amazing.
It's and the most exciting thing now is we're on a resurgence, and the United States is blank. The canvas is blank here in our country, and my man is in the mix to really help us. So I'm excited about bringing him on. I'm going to get him now. Let's see if we can add him. There he is, Big Dan. What's up, my brother? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? He can't hear us. He can't hear us, Mike. This is what happens with live television, ladies and gentlemen.
You yelled at me the first time I did this too.
I did.
So you did. You yelled at me. I couldn't get the freaking mic to work. It was hitting the wrong button.
That's why you have to come on early to test.
That's why I come out early all the time.
I know you do. You do all the time. I'm going to text about.
I know, because I get in trouble from you once, and then that's it. That's all I need.
I'm going to see if he can see us. Can you see us?
I can't see him now.
I'm going to try again. Hold on. Can you hear us, Dan?
I can.
All right.
What's up, my brother?
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Say hello to Mike.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, Dan. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I heard a lot of great things about you guys. I loved watching Comer's interview.
Awesome.
Comer was awesome. Now, so we're going to get right to it because I don't want to hold you up. I know you're short for time. So I want you to tell your story, man, because your story is epic. And start from where you became entrepreneurial. Like tell this synergy story. Tell the Dan Higginson story because I think it's amazing.
Well, how much time do you have?
Let it rip, brother.
As much time as you want. As much time as you need.
It's your floor.
I've been highly blessed and favored. I can tell you that. I had parents that literally were, I told Bobby the one story was, I came home and I had a C in English, and I thought I was going to be in trouble. I thought my dad was going to hold me out of a couple games, and because he took that stuff serious. And I get home and my mom sees the report card and she's like, "Who's this Mrs. Johnson? She ought to be fired. She's got the smartest kid in her class in the whole school, and she's giving him a C. She's a moron, right?" And honestly, that's how my life was. Then I faced a kid in baseball that went on to have a really good minor league career, and I'd never struck out 3 times in a game, and he put me down 3 times. He had a splitty, about 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but he had a splitty that moved. And anyway, he got me, and I thought I let my dad down. I was really, really down, and my dad said, "Hey, let's run down to Dairy Queen and get us an ice cream cone and talk about the game." I said, "All right." So we go down there, and he said, "Son, I've never seen a swing like that. Your swing is the prettiest swing since Mickey Mantle. I've never seen a better swing on a baseball, kid." So what I'm trying to tell you, gentlemen, is that I was extremely blessed to be in an environment with parents that made me believe I couldn't fail. And for 95% probably of the community of the world, that's just not the case. And I'm lucky to be one of those 5%ers. And so I've just taken risks my whole life in entrepreneurial spirit. To give you the short version of synergy, I was anti-synergy because of an experience my father had at a young age. I was probably 9 years old. And I remember I have ADD, and I was walking back and forth the pantry to the front door, to the pantry, the front door. And this guy came, and he's in a suit, and he wanted to share some things with my dad. And my dad asked him mid-sentence if he was part of this certain company. And the guy said, no, we're the American, Freedom Eagle Group, and we represent some different things, but we're our own company, which is a half truth, right? But later on, when he opened his briefcase, my dad seen that company's catalog, and he asked him one more time. He said, "Sir," he said, "if you're not willing to tell me if you're a part of this company, then you can get the hell out of my house." Literally, my dad escorted him out of our home. My dad was a handshake guy. My dad was he was a hard steel toe guy. He was a superintendent at Geneva Steel. He's very smart. He's a chemist by trade, but he's just a superman. But his handshake meant something. And when this guy tried to deceive him on what he was doing, it really upset him. And my dad said to me that night, he said, "Son, don't ever be a part of anything that you cannot be 100% forthright with. Do not ever represent a product, service, or anything you can't give back and make the world a better place." And that hit me at a young age. It hit me really hard. And so immediately I became anti-network marketing. I thought, oh boy, this is white powder residue on the noses. This is broken marriages. This is guys with multi-million-dollar homes that they're renting and trying to show a story that they can't pay for. I mean, to me, it was a disgusting environment. And as you fast forward, I was doing some service work for my church. I got sick. I got hepatitis. Had a serious strain to my liver. And all I wanted to do was body healthy, keep playing the game I love, which is baseball. And it just didn't work out. And I remember, kind of sliding into this little depression, if you will, that I didn't know existed until it became chemical, right? So I felt bad. For years, I thought when I met somebody that was depressed, I thought, man, I don't want to be around those people. Those people are self-taught losers. That's furthest thing from the truth. They're great people that have gone through some kind of a chemical change. Something may have happened in their youth, but something. So depression's real. What I'm saying, it's very real, and people suffer from it. Some of the best athletes in the world on the highest stages suffer from a great deal of depression and anxiety. So I really learned a valuable lesson there. I was laying on my back. I was taking a business law final, trying to get ready to go play the game I love, and had to take a business law final at Utah Valley University. Had strep throat and a fever of about 103, and the professor said, "You don't take it, you don't qualify. You don't qualify, you don't do anything." So I was really discouraged. I went and took the test. I aced it, mind you. But on my way home, it was 1992. It was a record snow year in Utah. There was about 3 feet of snow on the side of the freeways, and it was a really sunny day. And they don't know if I passed out, frankly, from the ill effects of hepatitis, strep throat, etc., or if I fell asleep at the wheel. They don't know. But I ended up in a draining canal with a broken back. Wow. And I'd been married 6 days at the time. I'd been married, 6 days, exactly 6 days. I got married on December 4th. This happened on December 10th. And that's when this depression, all these challenges of being raised the way I was raised became reality, man. I mean, I'm sitting here going, wow, my dreams are over. No compression sports for a year, no basketball, no baseball, no nothing. And I thought, man, this sucks. And being in a body cast from here to the torso, or to the midsection, with titanium rods coming up the back of this thing. And it's like those, in the old days, those women that put on those little things that make their waist smaller. I mean, it was miserable. And you couldn't cough, sneeze, laugh, nothing, because the pain was excruciating. And, I could tell you story after story after story to get me to where we're going tonight, but I'm going to jump way ahead.
Yeah.
I jumped ahead and I get a phone call from my wife. She's working for Dr. Stephen Covey at the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's called the Covey Leadership Center at the time. And she said, "Hey, honey, I know you're hurting, but these guys really looking for somebody like you." And I said, "Okay, what's the requirements?" And they said, "Well, it's you got to have a 4-year degree and 2 years experience." I said, "Well, I have neither, so I'm not wasting my time. And I'm eating pain pills. I'm not feeling well. I'm not doing it." And they convinced me to go anyway. And I remember waddling out there like a penguin to get in the car. I could barely get in it. And I was in excruciating pain. I get there and I'm ticked off because I don't qualify for this position. But out of respect for the love of my life, my wife, who I've been now married to maybe 2 weeks, I said, "I'll do it." Went through the interview, told the guys, a little bit about me, my history, what I was doing, things I loved. And I came home. Remember, guys, in 1992, at least for me, there was no such thing as a cell phone, right? And so as I'm pulling in the driveway of this little house built in 1899 that we lived in, I can hear the phone ringing, and I'm waddling like a penguin to get to the door. And I waddle in. On the last ring, I grab the phone, and this guy says, "Hey, this is so-and-so from Covey Leadership Center. We'd like to hire you." And I said, "Man, I'm not going to lie on the resume." And they said, "Oh, we'd never do that. That's not who Covey is. But what we are going to do is change what we found a different role for you. We think you've got a bright future, young man." And they hired me, and I was basically a nobody, right? I was running errands, making sure people, coffee was to them. I was doing this and that, and was making probably, I don't remember, $5-6 an hour. And a lot of things happened, and a lot of pranks that I did. When you get to know me, Mike, you'll know that I pull a lot of pranks on people. And
I love it.
Got me in a lot of trouble over the years, but I pulled a big prank, and I actually thought I was going to get fired. And they called me in their office, and they said, "Hey, Dan, they never mentioned the prank. They never mentioned the damage I did All they said was, when you answer the phone, you're bringing in about $4,500 of revenue to the company, and all your cohorts, about 80 of them out there, they bring in $49.95. Can you explain the difference? And I said, as God's my witness, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And I did. I had no clue what they meant. But the difference was, when I picked up the phone, that individual on the other line of a Fortune 500 company, mid-level manager to a CEO, was going to spend $49.95 and come to Sundance, Utah, and be trained by the man himself, Dr. Stephen Covey. And to the others, it was an easier sell to sell the 7 Habits profile tapes, put them in their car, and listen to them to and from work. Well, I believed if you wanted to have experience, you needed to meet the man himself, right? See it firsthand. And so I went up the corporate ladder faster than anybody in that company. And then they made a mistake. God rest Dr. Covey, because it's God, my dad, Stephen Covey, in that order of people who have influenced me in my life. And wow. in that situation, they put a ceiling on the performance levels, which is just not Covey. That's not what Covey's about. And it wasn't really their fault, but it was just, it's an organizational development company. It's the fastest growth company in the country. I think the 7 Habits was the most read business book next to the Bible. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was world renowned, right? World renowned. He's speaking with leadership in other countries. The president of the United States, he's on Oprah Winfrey, he's everywhere. And they gave me this decision. If I went and if I produced X amount of dollars, and Bobby produced X amount of dollars, and Bobby, let's say Bobby did 2 million and I did 4, we got paid the same because we hit that same level of criterion. I don't believe in that. I believe in performance, and I always have. And so I decided to go with a division that they sold off called Executive Excellence. We were working with the top 18 business minds in the world: Stephen Covey, Zig Ziglar, Warren Bennis, Peter Singh, Tom Peters, Roosevelt, Brian Tracy,
wow.
Ken. We could go on, and it was a blessing because I dropped out of college. But if you want to get a PhD in organizational behavior, if you want to get a PhD in belief systems, like I had as a child with the parents I had, then you work for Executive Excellence. And Ken Shelton's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. He's a ghostwriter, had a huge influence in the 7 Habits, had a huge influence on all of these people. Warren Bennis, I mean, managing people's like herding cats. I was there when we named the book, right? I mean, it's crazy, the experiences and the blessings that I got for working for Ken Shelton. And I was the sales manager over that division of people because there was no ceiling. I believed in that. Well, long story short, I got a phone call from my former mentor and my boss, and to this very day, a guy that I call when I'm down, his name's David Fairbanks. When I'm down, I call him. This guy can light up a room. He's a large man in stature. He's a comedian. He's funny. He's been very successful. But to this very day, and especially now that I've lost my dad, I talk to him when I'm struggling with something. I give him a call. And he said, "Hey, we want you to do something we've never done before." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "We want you to go consult in network marketing companies." And my jaw literally hit the ground. I thought, you got to be kidding me. We are going to take the greatest material in the world and give it to the.
Oh, where'd he go?
And he says, "Dan, shame on you." And he chastised me, really. He says, "There's 11, 12 million full-time networks in this country. They're smarter than you, better than you, brighter than you. Get off your high horse. They need our material. We're going to make them better." And I can remember being so mad that night. I went home and I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And selfishly, it was to take that experience to these egotistical CEOs of network marketing companies, put their picture on the front page, make them be presented in front of the next page, which was a Covey article, the next page, which was a Ken Blanchard article, the next page was a Brian Tracy article, a Jim Rohn article, et cetera, and put their egos with these top 18 business minds. Right. Everybody in the downline will buy the material. I'll get rich for in commissions, and they'll get educated. And everybody, it's a win-win. I really felt that way. And then I'll never forget, I went to a company October the 11th of 1995. My first deal, and I had 2 deals set up, and I was so excited because I knew if I could get these guys down in Phoenix, Arizona to do this deal, that I was going to become unbelievably wealthy as a young man. I mean, I was 25 years old, and I went from $6 an hour to making $60,000 to having no ceiling on my head and moving up the corporate ladder. And I thought, man, I got the world by the tail. And long story short, it took me through 22 other companies. I'm not going to name those companies individually out of respect, but I went through each of these companies. And I will share one. I had a guy down in Tennessee, and they had 5,000 people showing up to the room. And I'd never been more excited in my life to give a presentation on what executive excellence, which we were branding to that company, right? So if it was Nu Skin, it would have been wrapped in Nu Skin. If it was ZJ, it'd been wrapped in ZJ, whatever company that would have been. But as I'm getting to the airport, so excited, I'm walking down the tarmac. I get a phone call from this very guy. He said, "Hey, don't come." He said, "They've locked our doors, padlocked them, chained them. They've shut down the business. It's over." And I was devastated because that old paradigm I had started kind of creeping back, and I started feeling terrible. But what I'd learned in these first experiences, that network marketing is a perfect business run by imperfect people.
Exactly.
I knew for a fact that the business model itself was great, but imperfect people are underfunded. They have a poor product. They don't have the right comp plan. But the actual business model is second to none. And I would say that on congressional floor. I'd say that anywhere in the world, anytime, and twice on Sunday. Right. I believe that fervently. And when I got through the 22 companies, I realized that I could do this. And by the way, part of the story I didn't share with you that was vitally important to get me to that level of paradigm shift was I got very sick when I was doing the service work on the Indian reservation. I drank some bad water, ate some clamfish. They don't know which, but I got hepatitis and my liver enzymes went through the roof. I lost 65 pounds of muscle. I felt like crap. My mom and dad wanted to bring me home, but I finished out. And in that process, I met a lot of people. And some of them were iridologists. They'd take pictures of my eyes and say, "Man, you got a bad liver endocrine system." I'd say, "Oh, man, you're full of crap. Had a injury in baseball," and move on. Then I'd meet a guy that taught me the theory of chronic acidosis, and it made sense, but I didn't really buy it into it. Then I'd go over to a guy that would do kinesiology and have me hold a product out here and move me around and say, "Man, you got a bad liver." All of them were right, but I didn't have the guts to admit it. I didn't. So what I'm telling you today is when I'm sick, man, I go to integrated medicine. I love MDs, right? Some of my best friends are MDs, and there's a reason, and they're great, and they're there for a reason. But I also go to integrated medicine, Jim Sandbergs of the world, guys that think at a different level of the human body and the way we push nutrition in the human body, kind of like what Mike does for a living. I mean, that stuff is vitally important. And as I learned that, I became so passionate. And what got me was when this gentleman sat me down and showed me a Stanford medical study, and it was on the theory of chronic acidosis. And they talked about how 95 out of 100 Americans were acidic. And that in an acidic environment, disease thrived. And for some reason, 2 + 2 is 4. I don't know what it was, but the guy just was convincing. So I said, "What do I got to do to alkalize? What do I got to do?" He says, "Get off the soda pop, get off all these things, have some lemon water in the morning," which in my mind, lemon water was like, geez, that's acidic as hell. Why would they do that? But the reality was anything alkaline, anything green that was created, you eat it, right? So I started doing that. My liver enzymes started naturally coming down. My MD said to me, he said, "Dan, I don't know what you're doing, honestly, but keep doing it. Because you're going to, if you allow your liver enzymes to stay spiked for so long, you'll start getting permanent damage and scarring." And so I got so passionate and I wanted to share it with the world. And my mindset was take it to my Covey clients, right? Go to Walmart and GNC and Target. And thank God there was a gentleman at one of those large department stores that told me if I did that, I'd be bankrupt inside of 90 days. He said, "Dan, look, we get rich for a reason. When we bring vendors' products into our store, if they don't sell, we send them back with a 10% surcharge. We don't lose money. We make 10% coming in. And if you sell well, we make a whole lot more. And if you don't, we get 10% going back, but we don't lose money." Nice. And so anyway, I just, at the end of the day, guys, what it came down to for me was I started to believe in the things that even my parents didn't teach me, which was, when you get sick, you go see a medical doctor, you do those things. I still believe in that to this very day. I do, but there's so many different resources and so many different things that we can do now for those regular everyday elements. And so I really got inspired through all that. And that's really when synergy got on my mind. And that's when I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a company, but I can't do it.
We'll get him back.
Yep.
Dan, we can't hear you. Can't hear you, Dan. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
Technology.
Bobby, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Got you down. Good.
Yes.
Man, did I lose you?
Yeah, we got you now. We're good.
Can't hear him. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on going. So at the end of the day, guys, I knew that I couldn't just go do it, but I'd seen enough. I seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the good far outweighed the ugly. And my paradigm shifted from anti-network marketing to 100% pro direct sales. That period. I absolutely loved it. So I went to work for a company. They were doing really well in Russia. The Russian ruble went from like 6 rubles per dollar to 33 rubles per dollar. And they were selling a single item echinacea pill on the streets in Russia to very wealthy people that couldn't afford a loaf of bread at the time. And they were literally selling a capsule at a time and doing about 5 million a month. And I was blown away by it. And they came to me and they could no longer, pay us. I mean, that was it. And so I had 2 choices. Do I go back to Covey, get my old job back, which I could have, or is this when I take the jump? And that's when I made the jump. And I made the jump with the guys that I was working with at that time. And we launched February 18th of 1999 in Tokyo, Japan. And the rest is history. Here we are today. It's been a blessing. 28 countries, transacted over $1 billion in revenues. Been doing this for 22 years and just getting started now. And so never been more excited about anything, and appreciate the opportunity to come on.
Can you hear me now, Dan?
And I can't hear you, Bobby, so I apologize if I don't know what I got to do this.
Can you hear me at all?
Okay, can you hear Mike?
Can you hear me at all? Can you hear anything?
I'm going to go out and come back in,
Dan?
Bobby.
Hey, let him come back. All
right.
in, 'cause I got a few questions. I'm sure you do.
He was hitting some big names out there.
Man, imagine being 25 years old
and having those big wigs. Brian Tracy, I remember reading his, I really took his course, the accelerated learning course. I remember that because I wasn't a good student and I needed to become a good student. And I remember taking all these courses, Zig Ziglar. I mean, I remember all these books. And here's a guy that worked directly with these people. That's amazing.
25 years old and he's getting fed all that stuff.
Wow.
I mean, we talk about this all the time. There's no secrets.
No. It's being able to apply the knowledge and to have those people at your display, literally learning right from them. That's the difference. Look, I read those books and stuff, but I didn't have those direct people in front of me, so it was a big difference.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Dan?
I can. I apologize.
Hey, don't be silly. Technology. You live in Utah. That's a crazy state. So we know. Do you even have electricity?
Just got that last year. We're working on things.
That's what I'm saying. So you're excused. But a couple of questions I have. I know Mike does. So early on, you go to Japan, right? That's where you chose to launch, and then within 2 years, you're in 11 countries. You're 27 years old. You're killing it, but you're also you're in a significant amount of debt, right? So tell the story on how you transform from there to partnering up with Nature Sunshine.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. First of all, it's important to understand why Japan first. Japan is, it's an island the size of the state of California with 128 million people that care deeply about packaging and deeply about nutrition. And so if you go to Japan, you'll see somebody buy a watermelon like this, literally, that they actually grow it in a box. It's all about packaging. Their fridges are smaller. Everything's different. And that watermelon costs you and I $5. It'll cost them $75, right? It's just different. It's a different world. But I knew that all the research I had done, it said that, first of all, I had a 1 in 311 chance at the time. DSA numbers was the chance of survival is terrible, right? To get 2 years.
Say that again. A network marketing company has a 1 in 311 chance to survive after 3 years.
I'm guessing it's a lot higher now.
Yeah.
But that was back then. Because I'm hearing about things jumping off the charts every day. One coin, my coin, your coin, crypto this, crypto that. There's a new company every day. But I knew that the studies told me if I could succeed in Japan, the rest of the Pacific Rim would open their arms to me. So that's why we went to Japan, number one. Number two, you're right, Bobby. We didn't go into 11 countries before that. We were in Japan and launched in Taiwan, and we had about $7.2 million of debt. And but we were killing it in Japan. And Dr. McKell, Nature Sunshine CEO started hearing about this company called Synergy all the time. He got tired of it. And so they actually came to our office one day, and it was really awesome. They sat down with me, Glenn, Kevin, and David, and they're like, we have a Cadillac. We go 55 miles an hour down the freeway. We're the first company to ever encapsulate an herb. We rotate our tires every 3,000 miles, and our oil. By the way, we put in premium oil. We use our blinker system. And he said, what we see in you guys is this little red Porsche, and you're going 95 miles an hour down a 55-mile-an-hour road. Your back tail light's out. We don't know if you've been drinking. We have no idea, but you guys got a beautiful image and a really reckless style. And man, we were like, wow. And they said, we want to acquire you. And we were like, wow, we're really honored and thankful, but we're not for sale. Well, this went on for a time. And finally we came together with sense in our head and said, this makes perfect sense. Here's the company the company, number one company, first to ever encapsulate an herb.
Crazy.
America in 1971, the Hughes family, great people.
Wow.
And they came to us and said, all we want to do is we want to put your Porsche in front and in back of our Cadillac and guide you and keep your image. We think you guys are rock stars. We think you guys are going to transfer the world, and we need your support and help in Asia. And that's why we're buying you. So for many years, we didn't touch the U.S., right? We weren't allowed to even by compliance. So that's how it went. And then on November 1st of 2000, we became a wholly owned subsidiary of Nature Sunshine, which meant overnight I had 33 biochemists, scientists, and doctors on my staff. I had the number one manufacturing institution that I know of anywhere in the world. Today, we have the Hughes Center for Innovation and Excellence. We're doing actual clinical studies on human beings. We're using our products with medicine. Just remarkable. And Bobby's had the privilege of actually visiting and seeing that, and kicking the tires and asking questions. And I would challenge anybody on this interview that sees this interview truly to come on in and see it yourself, because it's hard for me being a founding guy to say, man, I got the number one in the world. But I let Bobby come and see it himself, right? I don't have to say anything. When you go from lab to lab to lab, there's 4 different micro labs up there, and there's 4 different plant-based labs, and there's all this stuff, and you're going from lab to lab to lab, and you're seeing it, and you're asking your own questions. Because I learn something new every time I go on that tour, and I've been on that tour, I promise you, at least 1,000 times.
Wow.
And so, that's been a game changer. And now, here we are ramping up. We've the first people in the U.S., they had their boxes were in Japanese. They're out there trying to sell things that are written in Japanese, and we're not even supposed to be doing business there. And the CEO saying, knock it off.
1999, Dan Higginson founded Synergy Worldwide with a vision of leaving a legacy for generations to come.
Sorry about that.
You're all right.
I wanted to show the video, and she started talking, but go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah. So anyway, at the end of the day, guys, we've been named the top 100 company, and I'm not talking about network marketing company. I'm talking about companies in the country.
Yeah.
And there was nobody else on that list that I saw. We've been given a lot of accolades by Natural Health. We've been given lots of accolades by the manufacturing institutions and worlds. We're doing everything on a cutting edge, and we'll continue to do that. That's always been the mission and the vision from day one, and that'll never change, or I won't be a part of it. Right? It's really remarkable. We're really blessed to be able to do what we do, to touch the lives that we can touch. And when you have a product and services that you render that aren't Me Too products, that they're actual products that people have to have, that's when it changes the world. And so that's what we're doing. We're teaching people how to live, love, learn, and leave a legacy. We're teaching them how to improve their life, empower themselves, believe in themselves. We're teaching them how to break through the cycles of not being raised the way I was raised, right? I mean, I have dear friends, best friends in the whole world that have fear today because of something that happened to them when they're 9, 10, 11 years old. And the thing I love about this industry specifically is that you get a Bobby D and a Mike and a Jimmy Sandberg with a guy that wasn't raised that way. You can cut the chains off and bring them up with you really quickly. That's the beauty of this industry, is that everybody's on an equal playing field. I don't care if you went to Harvard or dropped out of high school. And then let me tell you, I have stories of both. I have the Harvard guy that didn't make $1 in Synergy or change a life in Synergy. And I have, people that dropped out of high school, they're multimillionaires. So at the end of the day, I mean, I shouldn't say dropped out of high school. I should say college, right? Like the Diane Levitts and the people like that. So I love that. It doesn't matter what color skin you have, what your religious preferences are. It doesn't matter. If you're part of the Synergy family, you're a part of something special.
600 quality control tests done combined on all the products, 262 of them on the flagship, which is where I want to go, because all the products are incredible. And by the way, ISO certified facility, a GMP certified facility, right? USDA organic certified facility, TGA certified facility, NSF certified facility. So, because I love when people say, "Well, I take an NO product, or I take," and I'll ask them, "Is your product manufactured in a facility with those designations?" Well, and they look at you. I don't know. Is it tested 262 times? Do you have clinical trials on your product? And that's the beauty. How about then clinical trials on supplements? You don't see that in this industry. Why?
No, never. I've never seen it. Never seen it.
And why don't you see it, Dan?
Yeah. So obviously the DSHA Act, the Dietary Act that happened back in the 80s, thankfully to Orrin Hatch, a gentleman from Utah whom I've had the pleasure of meeting and knowing, and thankfully he saved our industry. We're not allowed to make health claims, so a lot of people don't go down that extra expense to do clinical work because you can't really make claims on that outside of your own personal experience. And what's crazy about it is that we do all these clinicals so that we know what we have, right? We have lot numbers, Bobby, on your Pro-Arginine. If you look on the bottom of your Pro-Arginine, that stays in the shelf space for 7 years. That's so that we can go back, audit anything that changed from any kind of organic farm or anywhere that we bring raw foods in. That's vitally important. Nobody does that. 80% of my competition does not manufacture their own product. 80%. We're in a league of our own. Look, I don't like to sound egotistical or arrogant. We are in a league of our own. I know nobody that does what we do at the levels that we do.
And Mike, you're going to get a chance to go out to Utah. The most
I can't wait.
Biggest eye-opening thing, Dan, was the one testing machine where it can detect eyedropper, right? You said if you take an eyedropper and put it in an Olympic-sized pool, this particular machine can detect that drop in that Olympic-sized pool. Am I right, Dan?
In a nanosecond.
That's crazy.
Seriously, in a nanosecond. Now, it's some kind of spectrum machine, and it's hotter than the sun. And I don't understand all the technology and never will. But you can take one drop. And by the way, I was corrected on that. It's 26 Olympic-sized swimming pools. 26. I thought it was 21.
I thought it was just one. It's 26. That's great. Now, the most exciting product is Pro-Arginine. Probably the most dynamic product in the entire market. I mean, and I'm not talking about network marketing. I'm talking about in the supplement/nutrition industry. I don't think there's anything better than Pro-Arginine. You come up with the idea, or I'd love to tell that story, like because Pro-Arginine launched in about 2008, and I know you went after Dr. Joe Prendergast, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
A world-renowned endocrinologist who was doing arginine therapy on diabetics back in the early 90s. Tell the story of Pro-Arginine and how it came about, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So that's an incredible story. I actually, at the time, Paul Blatt and Rudy Pedroza, who you've met, Bobby, I actually asked them to go meet this guy. I'd been burned by a prior individual. I take people for their word, right? They say something, I go, okay, great, and I just believe them. And this particular person took me down a really bad road. Found out a lot of their what's the word? Credentials weren't real, et cetera, et cetera. So when I heard about Dr. Joe Prendergast in Palo Alto, California, I actually sent my brother, who was the general manager at the time, and then of course Paul and Rudy down there. And I wanted to know, number one, I wanted to see his credentials, actually see them. I wanted to see what this guy was talking about. And by the way, he'd been using L-arginine in his practice because of a health scare he had for 19 years as an endocrinologist. Is those whatever those guys that work with diabetic patients?
Yeah, that's it.
And you know, the guy played third base. I played third base. He hauled hay all summer. I hauled hay all summer. We were just like two peas in a pod. So I thought, man, I gotta fly this guy in. So I flew him up. We came to Utah. He sat down with our core. I mentioned earlier that we have over 30 biochemists, scientists, and doctors, but we also have a medical advisory board. And he sat down with them, and they went through the formula. And they said, man, if we could add L-citrulline at this level, vitamin D3 at this level, vitamin K2, which is the blood thinner agent at this level, we really think that L-citrulline can give a time release benefit that could really, really change the way that NO is delivered. And so we formed a relationship, and that's how it happened. It was that simple. We worked with Dr. Prendergast for many, many years. Unfortunately, he's passed on. But a great man. That's back when he was meeting with people at Stanford, Dr. John Cook, and they were talking about, you know, these guys that came out with the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1998. They're talking about No More Heart Disease by Ignaro. These books are being written, and all that's great, but we can't say that in our position company. What we can do is say, try it for 120 days risk-free. If it doesn't work, get your money back. We're not going to tell you you're going to see a significant drop in this, or sexual performance is going to increase or whatnot. That product, let the product speak for itself in those 120 days. And so we've done clinical studies at the High Desert Institute of Cardiac Health in Victorville, California. We've done clinicals in Ireland, Germany. A gentleman did it. We've had tremendous results. We have our own tremendous results. And what we still talk about to this day without making health claims is try it for 120 days, risk-free. What's the number one killer in the world, Bobby?
Heart disease.
Heart disease.
Right. So why not try it for 120 days risk-free? If you can't see the results for yourself, I can tell my personal story. My personal story is very simple. My blood pressure was 149/91 on a consistent basis. When I got introduced to this, my dad had quadruple open heart surgery. He's my hero. My grandpa on both sides, one died at 47, World War II hero, crossed Patton's front lines, 19 days, didn't take his boots off, had a massive heart attack at 47. My dad became the man of the house. I have cardiovascular gene that's not good in my family, and so I take that very serious. When I got on that religiously and went through that, my blood pressure went from a median of 149/91 to about 113/70, 110/70, 110/68. And I can share that because that's my results. And I have doctor medical charts that show those results, right? But we still can't go out and make health claims, which is a shame, because I believe this product, I truly believe in my heart. And listen, it's not just about your heart. It's not just about your sexual performance. It's about Haloti Ngata, one of the greatest defensive linemen that's ever played the game, telling Mark Comer, I wouldn't go a day without it, and I was stronger than when I was a rookie. It's about other professional athletes that I'm not at liberty to talk about. One I can talk about is Ted Ligety. I'm sitting in California, and I'm reading this. I'm reading this Men's Health journal, and I get to this page. It has Kobe Bryant, Ted Ligety, who I didn't know, and I believe it was John Stockton or somebody. And Ted Ligety says, I don't go a day of my life without Pro-Arginine. I'd never heard of the guy in my life. The guy's an Olympic gold downhill Super G skier or something, right? Blew my mind. And then I've got, as you know, Bobby, in confidence, I've shared with you a few names in my phone on speed dial that got extra years, they believe, in the MLB from this product. And because I didn't pay them, and I wouldn't pay them, I wasn't allowed to use their names. And so I'm not going to go down that road. But I can tell you, professional athletes, UFC fighters, the number one European cycling team use Pro-Arginine. So Pro-Arginine, yes, it addresses the number one killer in the world and significantly helps in heart health, right? We know that. But what it does for athletes and guys like Mike and trainers and people like that is what gets me up in the morning with such an incredible vigor to get out and share this with somebody, right? It's changed lives at an unprecedented level, starting with my own. And it's changed my mom's life. You know, my mom, I can't talk about her personal experience. She has to. But the bottom line is, you've told me stories, Bobby, about you and what it's done for you personally. So, make no mistake about it. I believe it's the greatest product out there on the market. And I believe that it's for a reason, right? How do you gauge that? You gauge that by looking at 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, the people who took it in our industry I think the number's somewhere between 8.5% and 10% on a reuse basis, and we were at 51.3% according to Stu Rudder's analytics that he ran. Now, that tells me two things. Number one, it tells me it's the best product in the world. If you're getting a 51% hold rate, that means that all of Synergy's volume is basically customers, as you know. All of it in the U.S. is basically customers. Well, these aren't people in the business to make money. These are people taking the product to improve their health. Yeah. And so when you have a high hold rate like that, it's really – now, I haven't been in day-to-day management since for a long time. So I'm just sharing the numbers that I know from what has been shared with me. But the bottom line is a product that changes lives, and that's what you're looking for in this world.
You think from a business perspective, right? Because people love to talk about comp plans, and we'll talk about that briefly if we can. But if you have whatever your comp plan is, it's based primarily on the residual aspect of your product. And if your product in the industry averages about 8.8%, which are the numbers, and then you have a product here that's 51.3, 6 times, right? Roughly 6 times more effective on repeat orders. I mean, so in other words, if your company has 3 times the better comp plan, but you have 6 times less the retention, who's got the better comp plan, right?
Yeah, no question.
And then you talk about your comp plan. You did something very bold in the beginning, which is bizarre what you did. You put in what's called a mega match. And nowhere in the industry does that exist. I mean, most companies have a match where if I enroll Mike, I'll match his basic commission by maybe 10%. The most I've seen is 20. Your comp plan is 100% match. How the hell do you do that?
Well, it's funny you asked that. That's a big part of the story. When we studied the industry, there's about 30 or so companies out there that had hit 100 million annually and stayed on that list 10 years or longer. And of those 30, there's about 7 that dropped off before that 10-year milestone. Now, Synergy's been in business 22 years, and that comp plan has never changed. So that tells you something right there, number one. But number two, I knew that the white-collar environment traditionally didn't do network marketing, to be honest with you. That's what I learned in my research. Yeah. And that's a whole nother story and a whole other interview. That's incredible, by the way. But what I learned is that if I'm working for AT&T and you're paying me $60,000 a year, and I can put 10% of my salary in the 401k plan, and the company will match it, that hopefully when I'm 62 and a half years old, I live the American dream. And you and I all know, everybody on this call and everybody listening to this knows that simply doesn't happen very often. Yeah. We had the market crash of 2010. My dad basically, lost everything that he had worked so hard for from, early 70 all the way up to the market crash.
Another one coming too, by the way.
What's that?
Another one's coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question. So what I'm saying is I wanted to go to those people and look them in the eye and say, look, how would you like to match 100% of the effort of the people you care, love, and adore and serve and change their lives instead of 5% or 10% that you're getting your corporate 401k? How would it be for you to go out there as the CEO of your own entity, which is exactly what Mike and Bobby are, and go build your organization and handpick the people you want on the bus and then match their income dollar for dollar? So at the end of the day, when you look at a Mark Comer, who you interviewed last week, you look at a Diane Levitt, you look at a Bart Woodcook, who we nicknamed Mr. Mega Match. He's not even a presidential executive, but makes more money than some of the presidential executives because of his mega matches. Right? You look at Dane George, a 2-time World Series winner with the Cardinals and the Royals, batting title champion in '82. And you think about it, and here's a guy that was busting his butt in another company. When he met me, he shared his volume, and I said, man, and I'm just being honest, if we took that volume and rolled it over our plan, in the mega matches alone, you'd be tripling your income. And he was shocked. And out of integrity, he didn't even sell the spot. He just went in and resigned. Came to Synergy, and the rest is history. He's a multi-millionaire through Synergy. Wow. Why? Because if you lead with products, you build a big customer base that has a repeatable nature, whether they're making money or not. Now, is it better to get your product for free? Yeah. So I always tell people, why not get in, help friends and family, and get that product for free? But if not, to have that huge mass that gets on the product, stays on the product, irregardless of the opportunity, says enough for me. But more importantly, what's really important to me is that anybody of any walk of life, I can tell you stories in Thailand, I can tell you stories in Indonesia, real stories of real people that didn't make $300 a month that are financially free now. And that's what when I wake up in the morning, man, that's what fires me up is, and it's not like they're making 10,000, but they're making 3 times the median average salary that they would get in that country. Right. That's what means something to me. And so when you can teach people how to live like they're dying, tomorrow's not promised. And you can really, and you've embedded that culture in 1999. If you Google Dan Higgins, if you go to YouTube, the message has never changed. Today it's the same. Live like you're dying, because guess what? You don't want to know what tomorrow brings. It makes you a better man, better woman. You're going to treat your kids better. You're going to talk different. You're going to be more sensitive. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow in a crash, that's what changes you, right? If you love the same, then you can break down all these barriers. And you know me, but Bobby, you know me. I don't talk my politics on national or whatever we're on, but I can just tell you right now, I love people, and I don't like the division in this country, and I'm a patriot, and I love my grandfathers and what they did for me, and the legacy they left on me serving this country in World War II and giving us the freedoms that we're losing every day. That means something to me. So if we love the same, we don't look at, blacks, whites, Caucasian, Asian. We don't care, right? Some of my best friends are of every race and kindred. They really are. I'm a Christian. But my Muslim friends are some of my best friends in the world, and I trust them, my kids with them, more than I would trust them with some of my Christian friends, right? Yeah. So the beauty about synergy is we just break down all barriers. And then if you live, love, and learn, right? Learn, grow, and develop the culture, the products, the opportunity, and you serve others, and you tap root deep and you serve them. You really serve them to get what they want. Then you're going to leave a legacy. And what that means, what Dr. Covey taught me was, Dan, when you die, all that matters is what's said at your funeral. It's what your uncle says about you, your cousin, your buddy, your friend, your business partners. That's all that matters. Your coaches. What they say about you is all that matters. They're not going to remember the fleet of cars you had or the Harley Davidson collection or the 15 homes. Man, Bobby, I drive a Ford truck. I can drive any car I want. Yeah. I drive a Ford truck. I live in a nice house. But it's not about that, right? That's all there. We have people that have made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. We have people that have failed, right? It's a choice, and we all have a choice. But at the end of the day, what synergy does is it brings all 5 converging factors together. The company's rock solid. The timing in the marketplace couldn't be better with this unbelievable sick pandemic we have. People are looking for extra opportunity. They're looking for ways to protect their family. They're looking for ways to build their immune system. You look at the trends that support that. You look at the compensation plan that's been built around that. It's all there. There's really nothing missing except for us as individuals making a choice. And some will and some won't. And that's just the way life is, right? 20% do 80% of the volume. 20% in synergy do 80% of the volume. They do. But at the end of the day, we're giving people choices, and we're showing them how it can be done. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody. But when someone really takes it from a logical standpoint, looks at their health, looks at their financial stability, looks at the taxable advantages, looks at all the things that a home-based business offers you, truly offers you, it's, to me, a no-brainer. And I'm not talking about just synergy. I'm talking about any home-based business. Yeah. To be an entrepreneur, there's some real privileges and things in this country right now. So sorry I got a little long-winded, but whatever.
It was amazing. You nailed it. I got to tell you, there was questions I had to ask you, and you were talking so much, you answered every one of them. So I was like, wait, stop talking for them. Let me ask the question first before you just kept going. That was awesome.
Well, I appreciate you too.
Mike, how fortunate are we to have access to this gentleman?
Well, I'm still amazed at the names you rattled off before, like the Brian Tracy's and things. I was like, wow, this guy sat right next to these guys and was involved with these guys. I mean, that is amazing, because I remember my dad throwing me these books because, Accelerated Learning by Brian Tracy. He's like, yeah, you need to learn because you're dumb. So maybe this guy will help you learn because you ain't listening to me. And I got to tell you, I mean, a lot of those techniques I used in my business that I as a trainer, and they excelled me. So, listening to you talk is, motivated the hell out of me. So
well, I appreciate it. I tell Bobby this all the time. Bobby's one of my dearest friends. Seriously, I love Bobby, and I tell him all the time, man, I've been very blessed, very lucky. My dad, there's 2 statements my dad had on the fridge as a kid when I was getting ready to go haul hay at 4 a.m, and I was not happy. And that was trials and tribulations are mandatory. Misery is optional. We're going to wake up and someone that we love and care about is going to say, man, just diagnosed with cancer. I was just, very challenging things happen to us all, right? We're not getting past it. We are going to have trials and tribulations, but misery is optional. We have a choice. And it's hard to teach that. But, I've told Bobby many times, I was really super blessed. I didn't have the degree. I didn't have the 2 years experience yet. I'm hanging out with Tom Hopkins. I'm hanging out with Brian Tracy. I'm hanging
That's crazy.
Zig Ziglar,
That's unbelievable.
Dennis
Unbelievable.
Waitley, Peter Senge, Tom Peters, Rosabeth Moscato. Come on. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me right now? And Ken Shelton's calling these people on the phone and hitting record and interviewing them. And I'm sitting there salivating as the sales manager to get this material, have Ken put a beautiful article together, and then take it to the world, right? I was blessed. I'm lucky.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
And
That's
so
amazing.
When that happens in your life, you have a responsibility. Truly. I used to tell people, I truly believe in all my heart that Synergy Worldwide is the greatest business opportunity in the world. I now believe it's my greatest responsibility. I've changed my whole tune on Synergy. My responsibility, because of what I know and what I've seen in 22 years, what I know and see in this product, in this service, in this company, in the integrity of Nature's Sunshine, and the integrity of them being the first to ever encapsulate herb, and then to take it, the science and the technology to a whole new level. Guys, we didn't talk about the microbiome of the gut where 94% of disease starts. We didn't talk about Mystica, which is tested at a third-party lab as the number one antioxidant anthocyanin-based product against all other elixirs. We didn't talk about our Luminara, our skincare and hair care, and the paraben-free natures. We didn't talk about any of that. We talked about a product called Pro-Arginine that we know can be a multi-billion-dollar product in the United States alone.
Right.
And it's just a matter of choice and us going out and doing that and sharing that and knowing that you don't have to make health claims. You give it to them for 120 days risk-free. 120 days, they eat 4 boxes.
That's crazy.
Hey, man, I just didn't feel it. Okay, boom. Initial order and they get their money back? Who does that? We do, because we don't get it back and people get it.
Yep.
We are fortunate, Michael, to have this guy on our team. Think about it. Like Mark Comer, who said whenever we need him, give him a call. We got this guy. We got Dr. Sandberg. I feel like it's almost an unfair advantage that we have. And then you have the great product and the strength of the company. You merge that all together, and it's some marriage. Dan, I couldn't appreciate you more, my brother. I told you from the day I left Utah, that first day, I fell in love with you, and I said to you, I said, listen, I don't know if I'm going to make any money with this thing, but I'm with you. Like I told you, I knew it, right? I said, this is a long haul thing for me.
You did, Bobby, and you're doing a great job, man.
Yeah.
And people, you both are, both you and Mike, and the things that Mike can do every day in his line of work is pretty remarkable, and the lives he can change. That's the legacy, right? Is how many people can we change?
Good change. That's the whole.
Now I just got to get Bobby Boy to be taking it every day as a pitcher down at Old Dominion, so he can get his act together.
Yeah, that's isn't it great? Like I can sell this to anyone, and my own kid doesn't take it regularly. Welcome to the world of teenagers / 20s.
Yeah. My boy, as you know, is going through some serious shoulder stuff, and then I find out today they're getting ready to come down to Utah for a big series this weekend. I'm so excited because their field's got ice on it, so they were able to use one of our local colleges, and his shoulder's killing him. We're doing some therapy with Dr. Jim. It's really improving drastically. And then he comes down today sicker than a dog. They're up there doing the COVID test. They're doing all this stuff. His ears are on fire. I called him. First thing I said, what are you taking, son? What are you taking? There is no blood flow up in these shoulders like there is in the calves and everything else. You got to take this product and get that oxygenation. And
it's crazy.
Man, I'm on him like, well, you know me.
It's crazy.
7 minutes late on this call is because of that call I got from him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's why.
Jeez.
Sometimes family's the worst. Sometimes family's the worst.
Sometimes it can be. Dan, I love you, brother.
Love you guys. Thanks a million.
Great listening to you. Great meeting, Dan.
Thanks, Mike. You
Pleasure.
guys have a good night.
Thank you.
The GOAT, man.
Wow.
That's
that was unbelievable. I mean, if anybody listened to this interview has to be blown away by the company. Here's a guy who's mega successful to give his time. I mean, he gave us a lot of time.
It was an hour. Basically,
yeah, that was amazing. That was utterly amazing. And then, you know, we are blessed, you know, and the people that are hear this, hopefully they'll contact us and say, hey, let's get this product out. I want to try it, but we'll see.
I mean, and we didn't even talk about people. It cost $25 to become to get in business with Synergy.
It's crazy. It's absolutely
not $25 a month.
$25
one time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
How
Bob, you know, it's crazy. I'll be honest with you, and I know we're on the air, but I've done this already with some people that I've signed up. Like I've literally would give them a free session or whatever. Just sign up, because that's how much I believe in the product. I mean, you sign up, I'll give you the fucking free session, whatever it is, you know, because I know. Listen, I told you, I love the product. I use all of them. From Mystica to the Omega, you know, the Omega 3s, which is great. And I did my little I always do tests on everything. And I've been taking supplements my whole entire life. And I know this is the key. It's so, I love them so much. I told you, I dumped 10 grand into Nature Sunshine stock because I know it's going to be here forever and I love it. So it just blows my mind how, you know, some people still don't, you know, they're still reluctant. It just blows my mind sometimes.
You would think like every human, like a third of the country would be like, all right, let me try this.
I don't know. It's for me. I can't wrap my head around people who don't like. You know, I don't think I'm a naive person, but when I see something good, I gotta go with it and I stick with it. It's no different than taking a multivitamin. You gotta take this shit every day. You know, it's that's how important it is. I don't understand what people don't get with that. Like it's not. You shouldn't miss it. It's like brushing your teeth. You do it every day.
And being in business, you know, so many of these companies, and you and I have been exposed to many. Probably me more because even this week I usually get hit with one a week. Hey, you gotta get one a week.
Me too. I get on LinkedIn. I get hit all the time, and I know, get out of here.
And my thing is, if you tell me that the founder of the company will take my calls 2 or 3 times a day, if you give me the top medical / chiropractor, whoever it is, like the top physical genius, the smartest guy in the company, if you tell me I have access to him where he can talk to all of my customers, okay, if you give me those 2 things and then give me the greatest product in the world, oh, you're just saying it. Well. 3 clinical trials, 262 times tested in the lab that I just described. If you can match that for me, then I'll look at your
to do it right
program.
Exactly.
So I got news for you. There's every single company there ain't one company that can maybe even pull off one of those. Who's got access to a founder on a daily basis?
No, you don't have that.
You could call Dan tomorrow and say, Dan, I got a guy who's business savvy. Would you talk to him? And he'll be, yeah, sure. Put aside a half hour and he'll do that. The founder of a company. Now, Dr. Sandberg, who is a marvel, like I can't tell you how bright this guy is. Like to have him available to talk for a half hour for any one of your customers who has any ailment whatsoever. Whether it's like an ingrown toenail, or like severe migraines, or something wrong with your gut, like he's got the knowledge to help, and we have access to that. And it's incredible that and the beauty is, as you know, Mike, the United States is the last country that's developed in terms of this product and our company.
And I know.
Because Americans are lazy, Americans are skeptical, Americans are medical orientated. They resist. They're not. We're the 46th healthiest country in the world, Mike. Did you know that?
It's crazy. No, it's not. It's horrible. It's horrible.
And
it's horrible because of the knowledge that we have, and it doesn't take much. Like I just don't. That's why I tell you all the time. Like sometimes I don't understand the way people think. Like you said, it's 120-day money back guarantee. Like. It's not. It's the amazing product. I mean, I tell you this all the time. I make sure all my clients try it because I'm not going to give them something that I'm not going to believe in. if my clients don't believe in, if I give them something that's shitty, they're gonna look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about, and then I'm gonna lose them as a client. That's the lifeline of my business. So I'm willing to give them products because I believe in them. I'm not gonna give them. So I don't understand. Again, there's a lot of people I don't understand out there. So they're very reluctant, and hopefully they will turn around and they'll say, you know what? Maybe I may have been making a mistake. Maybe I should try this. I want to take care of my health. I want to take care of my overall fitness. I want to feel younger. I want to be able to do the things I've done in the past. I don't want to be breathing heavy. It's basic stuff that like you have to be proactive in every ad. We talked about in the beginning, whether we talk about your health and fitness, we talk about your relationships, or we talk about, your finances. You got to be proactive at it. If you're going to be proactive at one area of life, but not in the other areas, you're going to fail. You're not going to succeed in being successful in life in general. So you got to make sure you're proactive in all areas. And you have to start with your health and fitness, because without that, you have nothing else. So you make a lot of money and then you have to be in some kind of medical care from there. I just don't understand. It's important to take care of that.
We have mutual friends who are very successful financially.
Oh, yeah.
Some people that I really respect and love, and they are disaster health-wise.
I know.
And you say now, you say to them, to yourself, and you want to like shake them and go, well, what good is it, man? If you've got everything, all the money in the world, and at 60 years old, you now begin the process of every 3 months you're going for a new procedure.
It's crazy.
You're getting more. You have multiple issues with tests, and because we get one body, and I'm not you, right? You're in amazing shape. You do amazing things. But I'm smart enough to know, I'm fearful enough to know that if I don't do something with my body, and the beauty of pro-arginine, just talking about that, like you could literally, you not that we recommend this, but you could be a couch potato and still benefit from pro-arginine, because at least you're lessening your chances of a heart attack or stroke because of what it does to the vessels, right? Now, of course, we encourage people to move, stay in shape, but man, if you don't do anything, if you just sit back and you let life take over, I mean, I'm going to be 55 next month. Man, that's crazy. Like, did you remember when we were kids looking at the 50s?
Yeah, like, 50, like no way, that's old, whatever.
Like I don't want to be in getting tests done. Now it may happen anyway. The way that life works is you could do all the things right and still get something. It can happen because there's toxins all over the place, right? The air we breathe, the clothes we wear, right? I mean,
you're right. You're right to an extent, Bob. But I really truly believe if you really take care of yourself, those chances are not going to be there. We're not supposed to be able to say that, but I've had tons of people in my life that I've seen. Even people directly in my family have taken care of themselves. Tons of always nutraceutical, never pharmaceutical stuff, and they lived great. Now, into their 80s and 90s, like and that's a pretty good long lifetime. That's a pretty good life. And when somebody says to me, "Hey, Mike, man, I want to be able to perform like you, or act like you, or look like you," I'm like, "Well, you got to take the products." Like, and then you give them the products, and they're like, "Well, do I have to take it every day?" Yeah, you got to take it every day. Well, maybe I don't want to do that. I don't understand that. Then what are you asking me for? Or what do you really want out of life? Like, it doesn't take much. Like you said, well, I don't want to be, like you said, I don't want to work out as much as you do, Mike. But you don't have to work out as much as me. But you do have to take care of yourself. Yeah. So if you wanted to perform any given day, you can. Yeah. Whether you choose to or not, that's on you. But why would you want to put yourself behind that 8 ball? Why would you want to? Most people, they manage by crisis. Something happens, then they do something. The proactive approach is, do something now so that won't happen. And if it does happen, chances are it won't be significantly as bad, because your body will be in a gear of reproducing itself. It's so platelet reproduction. All these things are going on. If you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? Oh, when it's too late? Damn, that sucks. And then you're going to sit there saying to myself, I should have, could have, would have, all of myself. I should have been doing that. Why not do it now? Why not take the proactive approach? Do something now to benefit yourself in the later years. I just don't understand. It's like saying to yourself, well, you know what? Maybe I might invest in money, but I'll wait till I'm older to see what happens. Then you're going to be poor, and you're going to have no retirement fund. It's no different.
I'm going to give you to hit home on your point. First of all, a medical crisis creates urgency. You know, heart attack or a diabetic scare. All right, let me go start working out. Well, man, why? What are you waiting for that?
Well, yeah.
How about you? Same and my business, in the financial business, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, people, when the market's doing well, nobody wants to reposition stuff. Things are going good. You know, leave it alone. Well, you know, a lot of people were doing well in 2007, and the market had like a 10-year, I'm going to say 10, had like a 6 or 7 year run of averaging like 25% a year.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, 2008 came. Boom. And then everybody's like, I got to get out. That's not what you do. You know, like now, I even talk to a lot of my clients. I'm like, hey, the shit is going to hit the fan. Like, if you're in the market right now with inflation at 7.5%, you might want to consider shoring up. But you know what? Most of my clients will probably be like, I'm good. And then it will break. And then they'll be like, can I get out? So it's like what you said, man. Do it. Be proactive, reactive.
Right.
And there's nothing more important. Like you said, your health. I mean, I have a fear of being, you know, being sick. And I don't live in fear. It's a big difference, right? I use that fear to motivate me to exercise every day and to put the right stuff in my body. I take 7 of Synergy's products, maybe even sometimes 8 or 9, like you,
right? Because
I know I don't want to put bad shit. I learned that the Costco's and the Walmarts,
they got shit products.
They're shit, and it's a waste of money.
What do we learn? You said something key. You said something about fear. We learned something, you and I, early. Playing scared is different from being scared.
That's right.
We learned that real early. You know, playing scared means you're preparing yourself for something that might happen. So we're taking that proactive approach. Being scared, you're fucking too late. You're done.
Right. That's right.
So, and we learned that in the late 80s.
Yeah.
So, and God bless us for learning that, because the stuff we learned is taking us to where we are now, you know? Yeah.
Good stuff, bro.
So I'm just waiting for people to jump on on a train with us, and I want to take people for a ride.
We got some stuff happening. I mean, in a couple of weeks, and we'll bring them on. We have about 4 or 5 ladies that have just joined the team. Someone from your team, a couple, Anthony Trainer and his lovely fiance Laura, with some fire in their bellies, and they're starting to use the new skincare line, the Lamara. And bro, I have like tremendous enthusiasm for that. So we're gonna have probably in about 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna have like 4 or 5 really hot ladies.
I'm excited, yeah.
And
I can't wait.
They're going to talk about the skincare line, because the skincare line's a totally different animal. I mean, you use the stuff. I don't.
I use it.
I don't, because I don't have to. I'm already very pretty. You know what I'm saying?
You are. You're a sexy beast.
I don't really need to use it. But on a serious note, like it's this stuff. So in a couple weeks, we're going to have 4 or 5 ladies. Martina is going to come on. Z, my girl, if she's still dating me at the time, you know, day to day.
Just don't fuck it up, Bob. Don't fuck it up.
Yes. But that's
I like this one for you. This is a home run for you.
Yeah, she's the best. She's a good girl, and she puts up with my shit. But that's, you know, hey, it's
and she does. And I don't know anybody that would, but she does.
No, there's no one that would.
It's a blessing.
But we opened up talking about Valentine's Day, and we closed talking about my girl Z. So what better way to open the show and finish the show, right?
God bless everybody.
Stuff, brother. Great show.
All right, Bobby D.
Love
See you next week. Love you too.